Milsurp Garage. Here we are, last video of 2019 on New Year's Eve. Yep, what do we got here? We have the Peruvian Model 1935. Very interesting rifle. The reason why I decided to pull this one out is because I'm just like thinking if somebody wanted to start off the new year with a Milsurp collection, what's a good idea for them to get that maybe would cover a lot of different bases for them? You know what I mean? So yeah, you can say somebody could go with an M1 Grand, someone could go with an 03 Springfield, or even start with something like a Swiss K31 or something like that, you know. But I was thinking that this would be a good idea because it covers a lot of bases. It covers something that's foreign, a Mauser design, an ease of ammunition, and a ton of history to be able to research. So I'll show you some of the little quirks with this thing and touch on a little bit of the history. This is a revisit, as I have already done a video on this thing, but man, I look at some of these videos, they're so old that I realize that, you know, through the course of having a collection like this and reading and learning, even 5 years, it's not like you sit there and study even one rifle, but you just learn enough stuff that you know, you see some of the older videos and you even see that you're lacking in some information, but that's okay, as long as you know, as long as you don't put out misinformation. I think that it's okay, any level of information, if that makes any sense. Well, the story with Peru was that in modern times, let's say, the guns that they went through, they had a model 1890. An 1890. Let me get out some literature because I forgot. They had an 1891, and so between 1892 and 1895. They purchased 30,000 model 1891 long rifles from Ludwig Love and Company. And these were identical to the Argentinian model 1891, which I have a video up on this channel for. You can take a look at that. They were identical, and they were chambered in the, you know, the same, that same round, which is 7.65 by 53, are called the Argentinian rounds. You say it's Argentine, that's, everyone understands what the Argentine Mauser ammo was. 7.65 by 53 Argentine. Then they had progressed to a 1895 rifle, which was basically just a Chilean Mauser, the same thing. They might have been stamped with their crest, but it was basically the same as that. And a Peruvian Model 1909, which was basically the export version of the Guevara 98, again chambered in the 7.65 by 53 Argentine round. So you see, this basically is going on, they never really had a rifle of their own, let's say, you know what I mean? Then they moved to a Peruvian, the Peruvian Czech model VZ-24 short rifle, and this was 1930. The VZ-24 short rifles that were purchased from Czechoslovakia, and even there was a VZ-32, which there were small numbers of purchased after that. And again, these were basically just the Czech model VZ-24, just with their crest, or maybe even not with their crest on it. You know, at times there were some of them that weren't even crested. So when they finally put forth this Peruvian Model 1935, during the late 30s. It was the first time that they were really putting together a rifle of their own, the way they wanted to do it. And in Peru, they had been through a lot of things. Like historically, they had civilian rule, military rule. They had bounced back and forth. So I think in the late 30s, see, I don't even want to say, I was reading a little bit about it, but it was making my head hurt. But apparently there was whatever faction was in charge at the time, they really they went to FN and they wanted a rifle made the way they wanted it. So it's basically an FN produced Mauser, Mauser derivative here, and they were chambered in the Argentine round, 7.65 by 53 Argentine, and they had a few quirks where they were made. Whoever was getting these things made wanted certain things specifically done, like safety. This would normally be the safe position, but this is the fire position. This is the safe position on this rifle, so it's backwards. And I read about it. There's different things they say about it. That the guy that was the military leader that was in charge maybe at the time, that was having these things put together, had a very weird shooting style, and the sight, the safety in the on position, and the safety in the fire position on the other side got in the way of his shooting, which I can't even really seem to make that happen if I tried. But that was the story. And they had a lot of like weird things that normal Mausers didn't have, like these grasping grooves on the side. Not many Mausers had this. They had this weird ribbed butt plate, which is very unique. You never really saw that. And they had some interesting things, like I think that cut on the side right there of the cocking piece was supposedly so that if somehow you're supposed to be able to use the rim of a cartridge to do something. I'm not sure, I don't remember, but that's weird. You don't really see that relief that's in there. And what else? They had this full-length top wood, which is a little unique. And oh, here there's this really cool muzzle cover on here that I had acquired. Very interesting looking front sight. It's different than most Mausers. And interesting look, the sling swivel on the bottom and on the side. And this sling swivel back here on the butt would only turn a certain amount. It locked out. See that it only went this far. It's a little unique too, to stop it from just spinning around and getting all tangled up. That's kind of interesting. I guess all these little things that they said they wanted it the way they wanted it. And the bolt handle, check that out. The bolt handle's like flat on the bottom and knurled. Interesting, right? And a turn down bolt. So this is a cock on opening, typical K98 design. Hold open on the last round. And this is true K98 right here. And another interesting thing with these was that at some point in Peru's history, the United States gifted them a whole bunch of Garands in some type of deal. Whether it was that there might have been a faction that was fighting a potential communist overthrow or something like that. I mean, I'm just guessing. I know I read something about that. I don't know if that timeline was the same, but supposedly the United States had given them a whole bunch of M1 Garands and a tremendous amount of surplus ammunition. And this is in the 50s when we were pretty much done with the Garands, So we had a lot of these lend-lease things going on. But you know, if you're a country that doesn't really have a lot of means to produce a tremendous amount of ammunition, let's say, and the cost to you is a lot. Getting just say millions and millions of rounds of ammunition could be a big boon. But the United States never used this Argentine round, so getting tossed a whole bunch of 30-06 ammo, what are you going to do with it now? You know, what are you going to do with these rifles now? They love these things, you know. So from what I've read, I have read in a couple of different sources. I'm like the news media. I have to read it in at least 2 sources to be able to bring it to you. But there wasn't a ton of information on it. But supposedly, a lot of these caliber change rifles, like these ones, some of them were the countries that turned them into being able to be chambered with 308. And, you know, they always say, like, stay away from those things. Be very careful. You want to collect them, fine, but don't fire them. You know, the rifle wasn't made for that. And these rifles were modified, you know, by the countries to do that, you know, and they're supposedly not that safe. Very rarely do you hear one that's totally safe. And these, from what I hear, are totally safe because Peru did not mess with them. Peru sent them back to FN, and they said, we want these things to chamber 30-06, and FN just rebarreled them, from what I'm hearing. So now you go from a mid-30s production to a late 50s production, and the quality of the barrels, the quality that they were produced for the barrels is much greater. And, you know, there's a step down over here. I don't know if you can see that. You see that right in front of that barrel band? There's that step down. So I don't know if that has anything to do with proving that they are replacement barrels or they're not replacement barrels. But right there's a step down. Yeah. So the chambering now became 30-06. They stamped a 30 caliber back here on it. And interestingly enough, if you could see that, they had to cut a relief into the front of the receiver to fit the rounds. And of course, what do we have here? We have some realistic snap caps from realisticsnapcaps.com, where you could use coupon code Milsurp Garage and save 10%. And plus, they have free shipping. So go at it. This is... so you can see the charger bridge right here. These are Swedish clips, by the way, but these things are awesome for all different purposes. With 30-06, they're good for just about any rifle that takes 30-06. These clips are plentiful, you know. And you go right in the slot there, and just as I say it, I have a little glitch. Of course, not exactly sure what happened there, but that round is too far forward. I think I just didn't. I think I just had it angled wrong when I shoved them in. But the smoothness of this rifle, as far as loading and picking up rounds, you could see the. Look at how that's what you call controlled feed. You heard that snap in there? Now that round didn't even have to chamber it yet for you to be in complete control of that round. Nice hammer drop there. I mean, that's a nice strong firing pin action there. And you'd have to really feel this smoothness to understand. This is what made this Mauser design so powerful, so desirable. And the last round, hold open on the last round. Let's try that loading thing one more time. It was definitely my fault. I just want to I want the rifle to be redeemed. Redeemed. So instead of letting it hang forward like that, a better idea is when you put this in, to hold this back. Batting 1,000 here. No, I did not start my New Year's celebration early. The best bet is to hold it straighter just all in one shot. That's miserable. What is going on? Yeah, I got a better idea. I guess this is why we use snap caps, so we could see how ridiculous we look at the range. Let's load the gun the way a gentleman loads it. Okay? How's that? Ah. This is how Paul Mauser would want you to do it. Paul Mauser did not want any stripper clip bridges. That's what Paul Mauser wanted. Watch this. You know the true test of something that's functioning good, and you could do it this slow. That's what it is. Going slow is what shows you that the function of it is really nice. Thumb cut here, you know. It's nice. You will love this rifle because it's incredibly accurate. You could shoot .30-06 out of it. The stocks are nice and strong. Everything about this thing feels solid. Nothing's jittery and clanking around. Nothing feels cheap. This front sight feels quality. It's actually functional. The sights look good. You could buy some accessories like this muzzle cover and slings and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, that's the Peruvian Mauser. Plus, you could do a whole bunch of research on Peru's history that I was too lazy to do here. So you could formulate your own timeline as to exactly what was going on in Peru when this rifle was put together. But everything milled here, everything milled. The trigger guard milled. This magazine floor plate here, and everything. And so you have these like screws where there's a screw that holds the other screw captive, like that kind of thing. Just that real high quality Fabrique Nationale build, and that beautiful crest. That beautiful Peruvian crest on there. And that's that. Happy New Year, everybody. I'm going to be bringing you the first 2020 video ASAP. And I'm sure you will enjoy. And until then, have a happy New Year celebration. And thanks for being a channel peruser. See you later.